Welcome everyone back to school and wants to remind you to pay attention to school buses flashing indicator lights. The yellow flashing lights means that you should slow down as the bus is preparing to stop, and red flashing lights means that you need to stop your vehicle while the bus lets children on or off. Even if the lights aren't flashing, be sure to keep your eyes peeled for children as you navigate the roads before and after school hours. This message brought to you by Dr. Chuck Giles.
JNS Auto Sales presents Sports Talk Live and Local, Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Central on CBS Sports Radio, 1270 AM and 1019 FM WAIN. Also online at 1019WAIN.com. Join Scott Bennett and Chris Wells along with special guests as we talk local sports, Adair County, Lindsey Wilson College, and more. State sports, UK athletics, and others. JNS Auto Sales presents Sports Talk Live and Local on CBS Sports Radio.
You're listening to 93.5 Hot Country, Columbia, Kentucky, home of Lindsey Wilson Athletics that captured the 2015-16 Learfield Directors Cup.
I mean, advertising, would encourage a lot of local listeners, but I've got people from 3 and 4 different countries listening. It's two different continents.
It's because how special you are.
I mean, I just send them a text.
Yeah. Anybody gonna be watching that? Clemson, a 2-14 Louisville team.
No, I do think.
Coach started even talk, I believe. He didn't. He got shy.
I still got my 1,000-point ball. If I ever get broke someday, I'm gonna auction it off. I think it'll bring a lot of money. Chris, how can Marion be 1-17?
I don't know.
They're 1-17.
How can Louisville be 2-17?
I just think.
Sorry, Austin.
Chili supper, and they're going to recognize Coach Stonebreaker during the game, and so all that's going to be exciting.
Folks, this guy's doing all this with zero notes, so he's just like throwing stuff out there.
It's involving food, I guarantee. I mean, he knew that one.
Well, I'm just trying to, I'm definitely going to have 2 bowls of chili because I'm going to make a nice donation. I'm going to have the chili. I'm going to try it.
I wouldn't be shocked at all to see a bowl up there. Passes to the left side.
We're going to take a 2-minute break. I've been known to do that.
Yeah. Hello, everyone, and welcome inside the JNS Auto Sales Sports Talk Live and Local. We come to you each Wednesday here from the WAIN studios at 1270 AM and 1019 FM, CBS Sports Radio. Our sponsors are TJ Regional Health, United Citizens Bank, Lindsey Wilson College, and our title sponsor, as always, is JNS Auto Sales. You can follow us on Facebook at WAIN 101.9 FM and 1270 AM, and we're on YouTube right now. Just search WAIN Radio, and these will be archived. Thanks to our executive producer, Austin Armstrong, who is currently behind the camera, pointing it straight at me, and I'm uncomfortable with that. Alongside John Shelley and Ty Bennett in for Scott, I'm Chris Wells. And gentlemen, missed you guys last week.
Yeah, we really missed you too.
He's such a liar.
Yeah, we really
did. Did you see how it took you some time to get that out of his mouth?
We had a good show. We just getting ready for football. I mean, everybody's excited. Adair County's off to a good start. I know Lindsey Wilson's getting ready to kick it off.
Yeah.
Kentucky's getting ready to kick it off. So, for me, it's just an exciting time.
It really is. And the weather today is fantastic. Yeah. I don't know if it is an example of what's coming. I assume that's what's happening. I'm sure we'll have a few more hot days down the line, but it's starting to feel a little bit more. I mean, you get out there, use 90 degrees outside. That's not football weather to me. So,
oh yeah, I think it's supposed to be upper 70s, maybe touch 80 tomorrow. Good day. I picked a good day to mow. I put it off a day. Tomorrow's a good day for yard work. That's when I'm going to get it done. So
August really wasn't. We always want better and more, but it really wasn't that hot, I don't think, as a
We had a
whole.
stretch. We had like a week, 10 days, something like that was really hot. And the rest, I mean, it's been a fairly mild summer. I mean, considering.
I think so for August.
Two of the hottest days I can remember. Of course, y'all have lived a little bit longer than me, so there's some days out on the golf course I got really hot.
Yeah.
So.
Chris, those are the days when I took my shirt off and I was mowing the yard. When it got like over 100.
That a couple times.
I had to get some sun.
There's another visual. Thank goodness. We're going to talk a little Adair County athletics here in just a second in this first segment. Want to let everybody know that Coach Phil Kleckler is going to join us in our second segment. Lindsey Wilson football coach. He's getting ready to kick off his second season at the helm of the Lindsey Wilson football program. So we get to talk about him, get a little preview for Saturday's game. We're heading to Laurinburg, North Carolina. Fortunately for us, that the hurricane that just hit in kind of northwest Florida is kind of going back towards Georgia, South Carolina, and back out to the ocean, and it's going to leave where we're going alone. So fortunately for us, that's especially considering we're playing on a grass field, is something that we're actually happy about. So we'll talk more about that with Coach Kleckler coming up in our second segment. But let's start a little Adair County football. 2-0 on the season. You guys had a great call the other night.
Yeah, and defeated a 10th ranked team in single A pretty soundly, 49-21 Indians on top of Bardstown Bethlehem. That was at Marion County in the Cooperage Bowl. We had a little bit of a lightning delay to start it, but really mild conditions. Sprinkled a little bit maybe in the first quarter, but the weather moved out. Couldn't have asked for better conditions, and it was the Lane Grant show in the first half. Lane was a part of 7 touchdowns. He rushed for 18 carries, 222 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Was 9 for 18 through the air and threw 2 more touchdowns for 145 yards. So it really looked like Coach Stonebreaker and his staff had found some things they wanted to attack in that Bardstown Bethlehem front four, and there was a lot of quarterback runs in the second half. After it was 35-14 at the half, to show you how unpredictable Coach Stonebreaker can be, he comes out flipping it around. We threw the ball a lot more, I think, in the third quarter, and then once it got to be a running clock late in the third quarter, the Adair County Indians just kind of salted it away in the fourth quarter. But Ty can allude, kind of piggyback on what I'm saying, but that Adair County defense turned Bethlehem over 4 times in the first half, and you give our offense 4 extra possessions as well as they're moving it, that can be devastating for Bethlehem, and it was. Solomon Stonebreaker with 2 interceptions to self, one of them on the very first drive. But I want to say it was a second or third play from scrimmage for Bethlehem. Stonebreaker picks it off, and he had another one later on in the first half. Aiden Smith added an interception, and Ryder Rogers with a fumble recovery. 4 turnovers for Bethlehem in the first half, and those huge gains by Lane Grant. We saw Lane run the ball between the tackles. We saw him get out on the edge. We saw him run past option where, it looked like he was trying to check it down to all his receivers, and nothing was open. He just takes it and, makes something happen. He was very, very good. The rest of the team was very good. I thought our defense played really, really well. He's bringing some guys along, Chris, on that defense that I think he's looking toward the meat of that schedule. The Crowdus brothers are starting to get a lot more reps. I thought Blake White played really good out of that defensive end spot. His secondary played good. His linebacker core solid. But to give up 13 to Bethlehem, who had put up 55 the week before, was very impressive.
Yeah, and the 2 scores that they had were on deep balls, and we're going to give up some of those. We play one high safety, and if your corner gets beat, you don't have any help back there pretty much if you have 4 wide like they do. But I had 2 questions going in, and we talked about it last week on the show. Who's going to replace Caden Watson at corner? And we found out pretty fast it's going to be Solomon Stonebreaker, and he did a dang good job, 2 interceptions, and locked down their best receiver by far pretty much the whole night. And how were we going to handle their speed? It was a double, triple the speed that Russell County had, and we did a pretty good job. We talked about Martavius Smith. We were worried about how we were going to slow him down. Well, I don't know what his final stats ended up being, but it wasn't near what we thought it would be. So, and of course, the offense spoke for itself. I can't say what hasn't already been said. I mean, we look borderline unstoppable at times. I don't know if Coach Stonebreaker saw something on film that he knew he could get someone wide open every play, but it seemed like we had somebody just waving his arms wide open.
Chris, with Lane in the first half, it was one of 2 run formations. It was the lead draw, where he would, fake the fullback or the running back up in between the tackles, and then he would usually go to his left for big yardage, or it was just snapping it to him out of like the old single wing. He was the only guy back there, empty backfield, which allows you to put a guy up in a slot for an extra blocker. Stonebreaker was talking about that in the studio back this summer. A lot of times when you run your quarterback, it gives you, an extra blocker. And Dare County just exploited that Bethlehem front 7 or 8 guys and just ran for huge yardage. Give out a Dare County offensive line a lot of credit. I thought they made some really, created some big openings for Lane and his teammates to run through. And Coach alluded to it on the pregame comments when I interviewed him that he thinks that the key to this team is probably the offensive and defensive lines, the way they're playing. And he thinks they got a lot more room for growth. And so we'll continue to see as we go to LaRue County this week, Chris, first true road test of the year. But, LaRue County 0-2 on paper and really kind of limping in offensively. They scored, I think, 8 points all year.
Yeah, that's right.
They got beat 35-0 first week against Glasgow, lost 28-8 against Hart. Now, take nothing away from Hart. We know they're really solid with a lot of skill guys. But, without a Dare County defense playing the way they're playing, on paper it looks good, but you still got to go play, obviously.
Yeah, and something I noticed, I was looking at their team stats. They don't have individual stats on the KHSAA website, but they've given up like 283 yards in the first game on the ground and over 300 to Hart County. Of course, Hart County is majority run, but that doesn't bode well for them if we did what we did on the ground Saturday. It's going to be a tough matchup for them. They run a 3-4 mainly on defense. The 3 guys on the D-line are strong and pretty good athletes. I know one of their linebackers, Scott, told me today, I think, was injured and is going to miss the year with the ACL. So they're going to be, breaking somebody in at linebacker, but they're going to have their hands full with this rushing attack for the Indians Friday. I know that. So.
Couple questions I've got for each of you. Number one, do you guys see that the team is just becoming more comfortable with the system? And because sometimes it's easy to forget when things are as easy as they've been the first 2 weeks. This is a new system that these kids are having to run. Do you see that the students or the players are starting to be even more comfortable? Yeah, obviously they're producing on the field.
I think just the 5-minute conversation too I've had with Lane, he's made the good transition. He still, I don't think, with all the RPOs, he's trying to figure out all of his progressions when he checks it, when he but I think they are performing with a quiet confidence, Chris. I don't see any of the demonstrative 15-yard penalty outburst. I see the guys focused on, hey, let's play the next play. And they really look like they've got a good chemistry about them. You see guys picking each other up. I think probably they've got a couple pretty good leaders on this team. I think any team's got to have a couple good leaders, and I think they do. They're pretty much senior dominated on the offensive line, so they got a lot of good things going for them. And I really think that Coach Stonebreaker, with his staff, just from what I've seen, I think they're really contributing. I think they're locked in. Besides Coach Cross, you got Aaron Peck and Isaac Carter also helping out. Two just fine young men. And of course, we know what kind of defensive guy Coach Cross is. Jamie Bryant's fitting right in there.
Dylan Feast
is I'm not sure. Dylan, I think, works with the defense. I think maybe tight ends a little bit too.
Probably.
Just got a good staff. They just. I'm seeing a very disciplined team, but I'm seeing a team that's pretty athletic. They're big and strong, and I think they're going to get better as the year goes on.
Yeah, I am. You've talked to Coach Stonebreaker more than I have. I don't think I've ever spoken to the man, just to be honest with you, but I believe they've gelled pretty well. I mean, we don't have guys not knowing where to line up. I saw some of that in the first couple of scrimmages. Of course, you'd had limited practice time at that time, but like I said, when your best players or your senior leaders like Adair County has, and Blake White, Trevez Taylor, Stonebreaker, Lane Grant, that usually is the mark of a good team, when your best players are your leaders and holding everybody accountable. Because, you've seen teams where some of the leaders aren't really respected, and that it can go haywire quick. In that case, I've had it happen on teams I'm on, but I think they've gelled pretty well, to answer your question.
Ty, this kind of piggybacks on that, but it's kind of a different question. A lot of times you see the massive jump from week 1 to week 2. Did you see that this week?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought me and John had talked off the air before the show last week, and thought we were going to be in for a battle, and we looked like the way better team. I thought on paper it should have been whoever's going to have the ball last, it's going to be a touchdown fest, but our defense, I didn't think we'd been challenged the way we needed to be the first couple of games, and I was nervous about it, but they flipped the switch Saturday. I don't know what it was. I'm sure Coach Cross had a great game plan.
But yeah, they're very disciplined on defense. I haven't seen a lot of blitz packages early. They're just playing standard defense. They're bending a lot, but they got those key turnovers, a couple of them down in the red zone. So I think probably that would match the way they're playing offensively, because I think he gave a stat they'd scored on like 9 of the first 11 drives or something going into that last game with both scrimmages. So he feels like they're going to score the ball. So and it's hard for a
that
team.
Frees up your defense too when you know that the offense is going to score on most drives, and you let these linebackers that we have, Timmy Strevel, Byron and Ryder Rogers, and Deshaun Crowdis last week made some big-time plays. When you can let those guys pin their ears back and get after people, they're going to do some damage, and they did. They did Saturday, and I was impressed.
John, give us a preview of LaRue County. Tell us what time, how to listen, all that good stuff.
Well, Ty had just mentioned kickoff is 7, but that's a little deceptive because that's 7 Eastern. So that's 6 Central. So we're going to be rushed. Of course, I'm not going to be rushed because I'm retired, but Ty has to work. Ty has to work Friday, so it's gonna.
So you can get there on Thursday then.
I can get there Thursday with my Winnebago set up, and I can pitch a tent. But anyway,
do a little tailgating.
Yeah, we're going to be rushed to get there, which really is going to hamper our pregame meal probably, and. I get really irritable if I can't,
What would be
have my way with that.
Well, what would be the choice if there wasn't time constraints?
Well, there's
we got
not
a lot
much in
of options.
Hodgenville.
We got a lot of options in Campbellsville.
Yeah.
We go right through there. So
Unless you want McDonald's in Hodgenville. just right
my
across
old
the street from
favorite, the
school.
old buffalo chicken salad from.
Yeah, and you Taco Bell across from the high school
Oh,
there.
that's true. Or Hometown Pizza. And they're right there.
Yeah, so but it might be a late night call, coming back through Campbell.
I was nervous about the game in general Saturday, and then you ate that buffalo chicken salad, and I was really nervous.
Well, it wasn't that. I was being nice. I said, okay, I'm going to order some buffalo chicken nachos as an appetizer, and then I'm going to order my salad as usual, and we'll all split the nachos. And I think Scott ordered something else, some other appetizer. We had two appetizers.
I had the chili
going.
queso. I don't know how you expected me to help you with that when I ordered my own appetizer.
So anyway, I ended up eating the appetizer that I ordered for everybody and my salad. So,
well, the question is, did everyone have their own appetizer?
Well, no. Ty ordered his.
Sounded like it.
Mine.
Scott ate off his. So, but I did do the right thing. I told him to put that one on my bill.
Oh,
we didn't split that because I had 98.7% of the nachos. Scott had one chip, I think.
John, any? I know volleyball 2-5 on the season. Anything else that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I do want to mention just really quickly volleyball. I got to go out and see Dare County hosted the 2A Monday night.
Yep.
They were defeated by Taylor County 25-6, 25-15, 25-12. They lose that one in 3 sets. Russell County defeated LaRue in the second game. And so Russell and LaRue will play, Russell and Taylor will play tonight for the Section 4 2A, Section 4 2A to advance to a volleyball state tournament like we've seen in basketball in the past. And then our girls came back after losing that one and were defeated by Campbellsville 1-3. They did win one set, 25-18. Looked like we're very competitive in that game. Just lost a 25-21 set, a 25-16 set. Since our last show, they're 0-2, and they play Greene County tomorrow night at home.
Yep.
So I did not get any thing from golf today. I'll try to catch up with Nick Coe before next week. I've been trying to send him some text to kind of give some updates on the show, but I hadn't heard anything on golf, so we'll get to that next week.
All right. That's our Dare County report. We're going to step away for 3 minutes. When we come back, we'll talk a little Lindsey Wilson athletics, and we'll get to talk with LWC head football coach Phil Kleckler, who's in the studio with us. We'll be back in a couple minutes. This is the JNS Auto Sales Sports Talk Live and Local.
This is Matt Loy with United Citizens Bank. Although I'm very proud of all the products and services we offer, the best thing we have to offer is good, old-fashioned customer service. It may seem like banking is moving to smartphones and computers, and while we can do that too, we don't think anything can replace a firm handshake and your confidence in our word. When you think personal service and customer-first banking, think UCB. United Citizens Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
This is Kylie McCovens. I'm a Greene County High School graduate and a Lindsey Wilson College student. I'm well on my way to earning my degree in Human Services and Counseling. At LWC, I've met new people, had the opportunity to become involved on campus, and I've loved being a part of campus ministry. Visit today and you will want to make Lindsey Wilson College your new home too. Call the admissions office at 270-384-8100 or email us at admissions@lindsey.edu.
Have you injured yourself playing a sport or exercising? Sports medicine experts at TJ Regional Health are trained to get you back on the road to recovery, whether you're dealing with sprains, fractures, knee and shoulder injuries, or other common injuries. Our goal is to prevent illness and injury in active individuals of all ages and help prevent future problems to maximize your performance. Find out more at tjregionalhealth.org/rehab. Patients first, team always. TJ Rehabilitation Services.
Let J&S Auto Sales show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car in Columbia. They believe in fair prices, superior service, and treating treating customers right. Their friendly and knowledgeable sales staff is here to help you find the car you deserve, priced to fit your budget. Shop their virtual showroom of used cars, trucks, and SUVs online at jnsautosales.ky.org. JNS Auto Sales, here to help you find that perfect car you deserve, priced to fit your budget.
Auto Sales Sports Talk Live and Local. Our sponsors are Lindsey Wilson College, United Citizens Bank, TJ Regional Health. Our title sponsor is JNS Auto Sales. For our Lindsey Wilson report, we'll go through a couple of teams that are in action. Then we're going to visit with LWC head football coach Phil Kleckler. Men's soccer team off to a 2-0 start. They took care of Judson on a Monday afternoon. Talking about, it was a little warm on the field on Monday afternoon, just so you know. Blue Raiders won that one 6-1. Sebastian Tregarthen finished with a hat trick. Unbelievable freshman and how fast he is. It's unreal how quickly he gets to a ball and has a clinical touch right around the goal. Again, scored his first career hat trick to help the Blue Raiders to pick up the 6-1 win over Judson. They're heading south down to Florida. They'll go all the way down to the Miami Gardens area. They'll take on St. Thomas on Friday, and then Kaiser, who is coached by former Blue Raider Gavin Odom, on Sunday. And it's a good test for this young Blue Raider team, who's off to a really good start under head coach Cicello Buttilizzi. Women's soccer in action tonight. They're actually out at Walter S. Ruling Stadium. That kickoff is at 7 o'clock. They'll take on Shawnee State. Blue Raiders trying to bounce back from their season opening loss down in Jackson, Tennessee to Oklahoma Wesleyan. And that's a 7 p.m. kickoff at Walter S. Ruling Stadium. Shawnee State, a former Mid-South Conference team, no longer in the conference, so that's a non-conference game. And the volleyball team lost last night at Kentucky Wesleyan to fall to 3-3 on the season. They're on their way out to Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska. They'll take on Valley City State and McPherson on Friday, and then Grandview and Benedictine on Saturday before they return home next week. That's the sports that are going on right now. Golf, cross country, all those other fall sports will begin over the next week or so, and football begins this Saturday as the Blue Raiders open up season number 14 on the road. This is the coach. I don't even know if you know this or not. You know this, but you probably hadn't really thought about it. This is the first time in 5 years we're opening the season on the road. Usually the last 4 years we've been at the friendly confines of Parnell at the Parm to open up the season, but we'll do it away from Columbia this Saturday. 11 a.m. Kickoff. It'll be noon Eastern time. At 11 Central time, we'll have the coverage right here on 101.9 beginning at 10:15 with our pregame show. Welcome in Coach Phil Kleckler. Coach, I guess just give us a rundown first of how things have progressed during fall camp and talk a little bit about your team.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I didn't realize this was our first road game in 5 years. Hadn't had time to think about that a little bit, but I have some time on the bus here on Friday to think about a lot of things on this long trip. But yeah, we've been going at it strong since August 7th and started classes last week. We just had a unique challenge with kind of having an opening round or opening week bye, which we haven't had over the years. Typically, we've started August 1st and then jumped right into it. That week 0 game in August. So, but we're an experienced team, but we're also a young team, if that makes sense. We have 27 seniors on our team, and then kind of that sophomore junior class. Those are the guys that we still have around were the COVID year survivor guys when they were young coming in. Just a lot of unique challenges there, with that. And then we have a very strong redshirt freshman and freshman group. We've attracted some great talent over the years, so I think we got a good blend of youth and experience, and we're excited to showcase what we got on Saturday.
What's the strength of this team? I mean, last year it was obviously the defense. You set NAI, led the NAI in points allowed, points per game, rushing yards, total yards. Obviously the defense was such a huge component to last year's team. I know, but I'm going to have you tell the folks what the strength of this team is.
Yeah, I mean, we're still going to be strong defensively, but I do think we've made a lot of strides on the offensive side of the ball. They've really given our defense some fits during training camp and going at it, and it's kind of been ebbs and flows, and where the defense has a good day, then the offense has a good day, and so it's been good give and take. And so I think we will be a more balanced team this year, and I think that's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. But we're going to hang our hat on playing good defense and field position and taking what the defenses give us on offense and score some points.
I'm assuming you're like every other college coach in America that hasn't played a game yet. You're just looking to hit somebody in a different color jersey. Is that right?
Yeah, I think the players are.
That's what I'm talking about.
The players definitely are. I think as a coach, as you go into game one, the keys to the game are, on defense, you got to see if you can tackle people. You don't tackle a lot of people in practice. Tackling's going to be big. And then if you don't give up big plays, you just don't have those coverage busts or those missed tackles that turn into big plays where they get easy touchdowns and easy points. You make them earn it and drive the field. And then offensively, it's not having those offsides, encroachment penalties, those illegal formation penalties. It's those drive killers, to move the football. And then just how well do you block? If you have hat on a hat, can you still make a play? Those different fundamental things. I think if we can do those four things really well, we'll have a good outcome on Saturday.
I know after talking to your coordinators today how athletic you are on really both sides of the ball, but talk a little bit about the depth that you have at running back and receiver.
Yeah, we have a really good problem to have, but we have a problem at running back. We have a lot of quality players that all have different skill sets, and we got to find ways to get those guys the football and not just be a running powered football team, which there's good things with that, but that's also, you don't want to be one-dimensional offensively. And I think the big thing with our receivers this year, we've always had athletic guys, but I think we're a balanced group and a really hard-working group, and I think that's really good to see. I think sometimes with receivers, they get the rap of, kind of being the prima donna guys that always want the football and always about me, individual type things like that. And I think that unit's really done a really good job working together and having an identity together. So, we're excited about them as well.
Coach, talk about your defensive front guys. I know last year they were dynamic, lose a couple guys to graduation, and at linebacker, I just thought it just seemed like every game I watched, they were just, causing havoc in the backfield, tackle for loss. What can we kind of expect from those guys, I guess?
Yeah, we're still going to be extremely talented at linebacker. Losing L.J. Bowman is a big loss, defensive player of the year. But I think our group, I would take our two deep at linebacker against anybody's in the country in terms of our depth there. So that's really exciting to have. And then defensive line, there's a lot of similar faces there. So the front seven of our defense is definitely our strength. And we're a little bit younger in the secondary. So, but I think when you're deep in the front seven, you don't maybe have to take as many risks and all those different types of things, and kind of a bend but don't break mentality. And I think us as coaches will kind of have to feel that out with our personnel as we get into more games here.
A lot of people think of L.J. Bowman, and he was a great player, no doubt about it. I mean, going to be in the Lindsey Wilson Hall of Fame one day. But some people forget the fact that L.J. didn't play the first two games last year, and then whether it was a correct call or not, didn't get to play in the playoff game against Grandview after a helmet-to-helmet call. You had guys step up that are on this team this year. I think of Cameron Rankins, who was terrific in that Grandview game. Those guys have had experiences on the field without Bowman out there, and I think they're ready to really take the torch and go with it and shine this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we have a guy, Peyton Doles, who was out last year with a we thought was a career-ending injury, and he's rehabbed back and just kind of always had that hunger and that chip. And so he's an awesome addition to us this year as well. So I think you're extremely right. We have Darius Heilich and Sidney Anthony Mills, and these guys have all played tons of snaps for us. So we're very deep there.
A lot of people will ask, because a quarterback is the position that people want to know about, whether it's fair or unfair. I know Ethan Cash is slated to be the starter. You've got other guys behind him that's capable as well. You can't just have one guy there. You got to have people ready to step in just in case. But I think back, because Cash has got the skills to be great. And I think back to Cameron Dukes a little bit, and I'm not comparing the two. I would never do that to Ethan, because that's not fair. But I think back like Cameron's sophomore season, when we just thought he can't keep the ball in bounds. You know, he kept throwing it out of bounds on long pass plays down the boundary where he would be out of bounds by 2 yards or whatever. And I could just see Ethan making that kind of leap, because when Cameron came back the next season, he was fantastic. He was an All-American. Yeah. So I could see Ethan kind of making that jump. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think any position, being a college football player, when they first get that, whether that's that game experience or that starting experience, any person is going to learn from the past year and grow from that. So we're going to have some guys that are going through that for the first time here this season. But I think you're right at the quarterback position. We're traveling 4 guys. I mean, you typically on Saturday you don't travel 4 quarterbacks. We're traveling the 3 guys that played for us last year, and we added a transfer by Blaine Espinoza from Thomas More as well. So, but Ethan's going to be our starting quarterback, and he's earned that right, and it's been a great competition. And our philosophy in our program is always to add talent at every position and just see how it shakes out, and it changes from week to week, game to game, year to year, and you just play the best players, the guys that have earned it through practice reps and film study and all those things.
One of the things that's kind of been a staple of this Lindsey Wilson football team from really year one in 2010 was the paying so close attention to special teams. I think of your kick return team, your kick coverage team, your punt coverage. They're fantastic. You throw out your best athletes and say go make plays. Obviously, there's schemes to that and everything as well. But you guys pay so close attention to special teams, and it really makes a difference each and every Saturday.
Yeah, it's those hidden yards, that in that field position, and like you said, all those things go into it. And it's a big point of emphasis with our players too. Is hey, whether it's offense or defense or special teams, what you're doing and what your assignment is, that you're putting that on tape, right? And so anything in our program, we don't want to put anything on tape that isn't our best effort. And so we're not lackadaisical in that facet of the game, and it's paid dividends for us over the years, and we hope to continue to do that moving forward, including this week, and especially this week too, as some players are getting their first taste of college action, and that's maybe running down on kickoff or on that KOR team, and they kind of earn that through those first couple games, and then all of a sudden you have an injury on defense or offense, and you got to depend on them, and you've used special teams to help get them some game reps a little bit too. So we'll go down there to North Carolina with 61 guys I think it is, and be ready to go.
Talk real briefly, Coach, about what, you don't have to be brief, you can take as long as you want, but last year was year one for you as a head coach. I know you've been around college coaching for a long time, but last year you were the guy, you're head coach. What did you learn in year one that you take into this second year?
Yeah, it's just you're just more comfortable. Everything's kind of a learning experience. I can't throw my hands up and say, oh, I'm sorry, it's first time head coach blunders. I can't do that anymore. But you just learn little nuances where, hey, in July, I can build 5 travel itineraries and have that done, so then I don't spend 4 hours of my day on a Monday building that thing, and I can be more of a football coach like I want to do. Or it's the fundraising things or the recruiting aspects. There's just you're just a little bit more comfortable, and you have assistants that have been with me for a year now or more than that, whether they're players or whatever else, and they kind of know what to expect, and they're always kind of one step ahead of you. Yeah, we know we got to do this. We know we got to do those types of things. So we're moving at a good pace, and I think we're all working well together, and I'm looking forward to this season.
Coach, give us a preview of St. Andrews.
They're an athletic football team. They have good athletes, and they do play with an edge and play hard. They really struggled kind of hurting themselves a little bit when I was talking about some of those pre-snap penalties, or they snap the ball over the punter's head for a touchdown, just different things that you don't want to go wrong in a college football game or any football game in general. So I think they'll learn from those things, and I hope that we're not going through some of those growing week game one pains, as we get down there. So it's a challenge. It's 8.5 hours away. It's a grass surface. It's raining there now. I think it's supposed to rain tomorrow with the hurricane, and so there's going to be some different elements and factors into that. And so we just need to take care of ourselves and roll with the punches with what they do, and we'll make some adjustments if we need to, and be a good football game.
If all things were even, player personnel was completely even, where would you rather be? Would you rather have that game film from your opponent for 1 week, from week one when you didn't play, or would you rather have week one under your belt and play in week two?
I like where we're at. I enjoyed not having the pressure of going from training camp right into game prep. We got to breathe a little bit last week. Not that we didn't work hard, but it got to help us continue to develop our players a little bit more, and especially with first week of classes, those freshmen when they're going through those classes and all that stuff for the first time. But we were able to build our schedule this week where we kind of had a heavy workload earlier in the week, and here it is Wednesday, and we're not practicing. We didn't practice today because we did Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We went for 3 days. Decided to go off today. We'll be on the practice field again tomorrow, and then we're traveling on Friday. So the 3 days leading up to the game, we've physically only had one physical day of practice, so I think we'll be the fresher team as we go into it. So, and a lot of our players have played a lot of snaps over the years. We've been accustomed to playing 12 to 13 games a year, and when you take that times 3-4 years, and with some of these players that we got that are seniors, that's almost an extra whole season already too. So I like our experience, and I like our schedule with where we're at this week.
John Ty, you got anything else?
No, I was just going to say, Coach, with the weather, I don't know, like due to budget limitations or whatever, like I know I hear some of the D1 games about they'll take an extra pair of shoes or they'll take extra long, if that field happens to be really soggy and muddy, I guess something bad that could happen is your guys can't stand up or get traction. Do y'all take an extra pair of shoes like that, like for anticipating?
Yeah, our guys all got the cleats on rotation. You look at their locker and there's 3 or 4 pair of cleats in there, and they have them for those kind of situations where it's, hey, we're going to practice in the rain, and these cleats are a couple years older, so I'm going to wear them. And you'd be surprised how that helps with your feet and your shins and your ankles and everything when you're rotating cleats around too. So I'll make sure to tell them to make sure they pack all their cleats and they're prepared. And we still have it's kind of old school. You used to see it all the time when I was growing up in the 90s, those where the grass and you run your cleats on them, like the spike type things. We still got a couple of those that we got out of our storage shed today to make sure those got in the trunk. So that was part of our staff meeting this morning. I was like, where are those things at? We got to find them. And I got a text message a little while later. I found them. So there's towels and garbage bags and all those types of things, but it will be dry on game day. It's just raining up to the first couple days, so we'll have a couple days to dry out. So hopefully the field won't be that much of a factor.
Non-football question: who's your favorite baseball team?
The Chicago Cubs.
That's right, and they won today. They took 2 out of 3 from the Milwaukee Brewers. All right, Coach, thanks so much for joining us. Best of luck on Saturday. Looking forward to heading south with you and getting going 1-0.
1-0, that's right. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
All right, we'll step away for a minute. We'll come back. This is the J&S Auto Sales Sports Talk Live and Local.
Let J&S Auto Sales show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car in Columbia. They believe in fair prices, superior service, and treating customers right. Their friendly and knowledgeable sales staff is here to help you find the car you deserve, priced to fit your budget. Shop their virtual showroom of used cars, trucks, and SUVs online at jnsautosalesky.org. J&S Auto Sales, here to help you find that perfect car you deserve, priced to fit your budget.
Have you injured yourself playing a sport or exercising? Sports medicine experts at TJ Regional Health are trained to get you back on the road to recovery. Whether you're dealing with with sprains, fractures, knee and shoulder injuries, or other common injuries. Our goal is to prevent illness and injury in active individuals of all ages and help prevent future problems to maximize your performance. Find out more at tjregionalhealth.org/rehab. Patients first. Team always. TJ Rehabilitation Services.
Hi, this is Kylie McCovens. I'm a Greene County High School graduate and a Lindsey Wilson College student. I'm well on my way to earning my degree in Human Services and Counseling. At LWC, I've met new people, had the opportunity to become involved on campus, and I've loved being a part of campus ministry. Visit today and you will want to make Lindsey Wilson College your new home too. Call the admissions office at 270-384-8100 or email us at admissions@lindsey.edu.
This is Matt Loy with United Citizens Bank. Although I'm very proud of all the products and services we offer, the best thing we have to offer is good, old-fashioned customer service. It may seem like banking is moving to smartphones and computers, and while we can do that too, we don't think anything can replace a firm handshake and your confidence in our word. When you think personal service and customer-first banking, think UCB. United Citizens Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
You have a community event that you'd like to advertise? Send it to WAIN and get it on our community calendar free of charge. Brought to you by McDonald's of Columbia. Submit your community event to our website, 935wain.com. Click the Contact Us page. That's 935wain.com. Click the Contact Us page. Or email wain@forkbroadcasting.com. That's WAIN@forkbroadcasting.com.
Text and work. Text and pretend to work. Text and act surprised when someone calls you out for not working. Who, me? Text and whatever, just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to JNS Auto Sales Sports Talk Live and Local. Our sponsors are United Citizens Bank, Lindsey Wilson College, TJ Regional Health, and JNS Auto Sales. Guys, I don't know that we've ever had a bad interview, but Kleck is for real. I mean, that dude can throw out some knowledge, and it's
he doesn't hesitate.
No, it's just a good interview. I like having people in the studio, and I'm a big fan of Coach Kleckler, and he's doing a great job at Lindsey, no doubt about it. And I'm looking forward to Saturday. Did you kind of sense though, when I asked the question about going from year one to year two, how he just seems more polished now than when and you were here when he came in the first time, and he just, I think that was a really good answer. He just, he just knows, you could sense that. You talked about that quiet confidence earlier about Adair County. I get that sense, same sense.
In his answer, a lot of planning. There's a lot of planning that he, I guess, had to learn. He had to learn from last year, because he talked about not having an itinerary and how much smoother that's going, and you just kind of have to feel your way through that. I wanted to ask Chris, you might know the answer to this question, because he's a defensive guy by trade. He was defensive coordinator before.
Correct.
Does he have a hand in calling offensive plays, or does the coordinator do that?
Our offensive coordinator calls the plays, and he obviously is in on the discussion. If basically, the way I understand it, if it's third down, and let's say it's 3rd and 4, he'll call up to or say something to our offensive coordinator. Of course, they all have headsets and everything like that. You get 2 yards here, we'll go for it on 4th down. That's his call. That's how he, I guess, helps the offense. But for the most part, he allows our offensive coordinator, Matt Wright, to call the game, and really believes in him. Matt is another guy that last year was his first year as coordinator, and I think you're going to see see a massive jump in his play calling abilities this year. It was kind of we struggled offensively last year. I don't think anybody doesn't know that follows Lindsey Wilson football. We struggled offensively. We won a lot of close games because of our defense. But, you had the perfect storm. You had a first-year play caller, first-year offensive coordinator. You had the guy who followed Cameron Dukes, and that was 3 guys because we played all 3 quarterbacks last year. So, it was a struggle at times offensively just to get things going, and I think things are going to be a lot better this year. I'm really excited. I'm excited about some of the guys that you're going to hear on the radio on Saturday. Quante Hicks is just an absolute stud receiver. Manny Scott's back. Logan Collier's back. Logan Neufeld's back. And all those are at the receiver. Jay Bias Dawson's our running back. You've got David Gardner, who's going to be his backup. You've got C.J. Fluker, who's in that running back room. I know I'm missing Griffin Sweeney's, who was a Mr. Football down in Tennessee at Davidson Academy. He'll get some reps this year. I'm missing one other guy at running back that his name's not coming to me right now, but that Ethan Cash, our quarterback who's going to start game 1, has all kinds of tools, and I really believe he's going to have a really good year. And I think with everybody kind of learning Coach Wright's system just another year and everybody getting more comfortable. We talked about, the same thing that Dare County's going through those first couple of games, just getting comfortable with the new system. I think you're going to see that this year with year number 2 at Lindsey Wilson. I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be a great year. Guys, not only is Lindsey Wilson opening up for football, let's go state-wide. Kentucky, Louisville, Western all open up in week 1 this week. We'll start with Kentucky. They're hosting Ball State. It's a noon kickoff, Eastern time, 11, same time as Lindsey Wilson. I'm sure a lot of people will be tuning into that. Your thoughts, John?
Yeah, Ball State 5-7 last year, 3-5 in the MAC. The MAC is definitely one of the weaker conferences, I think, in football. They won't have the players Kentucky can put out there. They won't have the numbers. I'm really excited to see Leary play, but they did add some guys from the portal, Ball State. They think they've really helped their defense a lot. So Kentucky can't go out and sleepwalk, but I don't think they will. There's a lot of anticipation. They got the transfer from Vandy. I think he'll be the starting running back. Davis, I believe his name is. And, of course, all the speculation with the quarterback from NC State. Kentucky's going to be solid. I don't think they have any problem Saturday. My prediction.
You asked before the show what I knew about Ball State, and I didn't know much about them, but I do know that, everybody's excited about Liam Cohen coming back and calling plays for Kentucky, and his connection with quarterbacks out of the Northeast. Devin Leary's from New Jersey, like Will Levis. So I think that connection's going to click really well and really fast if all the reports are right about how well Devin Leary's throwing the ball in the preseason. I think early in the year, Kentucky really needs to shore up a few spots. I know one that comes to right off the top of my head is right tackle. You got Jeremy Flax is going to start the first game at right tackle, but I know I believe his name's Cortland Ford. I believe that could be way off, but I know he transferred in from USC, and he's been battling Flax for the right tackle spot, but they're going to give it to Flax, give Flax a start the first game just because he had experience last year starting at right tackle. But I'm excited to see who finally wins that battle, and Kentucky's got a pretty good lineup of running backs as well. The transfer from NC State, who has the last name that even if I did know it, I couldn't pronounce it. I know he's got some burst, and he's able to catch the ball out of the backfield. And then you've got the returner from last year. names are
receiver. You know, they got Brown. They got Brown back and Key, Dane Key. So they got some depth. I think they're excited about their wide receiver core.
I do, yeah. And there's a lot of there's reason to be excited.
They've always had a tight end that would catch a few balls, but mainly depended on a really good blocker out of that tight end spot. I think they're okay there. Defensively, Stoops is a defensive guy, so they're going to be solid. I think they're a 23-point favorite maybe on the board, so more than a 3-touchdown favorite to beat Ball State.
Louisville is on the road. They go down to Georgia Tech. That's Friday night game.
Friday night at Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech really played well late in the season last year. Louisville, I think from what I'm reading, the speculations, the word's still kind of out on their quarterback situation with Plummer. Not a real strong arm, but a really smart guy, kind of a possession-oriented thrower. So hadn't put up huge numbers where he's been, but of course, I think Brom, I think his team will really improve as the year goes on. I think their offensive line, they're excited about that. I think there's some questions about their defensive line, how stout they're going to be, but that'll be a tough game down there. I think that game's in Atlanta Friday night.
It is.
Of course, Ty and I will be on the radio for the high school game. We won't get to see it, but they do play Friday night.
And Western opens up the season at home against South Florida. That's in Bowling Green at 2:30. So just about everybody's playing this week one that didn't play in week 0. Just looking at a lot of the games, there's only really one ranked versus ranked, and that's on Sunday because of Labor Day. There's some couple Sunday games. Number 5 LSU and number 8 Florida State. So everything else, Georgia's got UT Martin, Michigan, East Carolina, and they'll do that without Harbaugh. Ohio State's at Indiana. They'll open up their Big Ten. Alabama, Middle Tennessee, USC, Nevada, Penn State, West Virginia, Washington, Boise State. You mentioned, I don't think you said it on the air, but TCU and Colorado playing. Everybody would kind of be looking at that, watching that game. So there's some intriguing games, but I guess if you had to point to one game to watch, it'd be that Sunday night game on ABC with LSU and Florida State.
Yeah, and Travis, from what I'm reading, is he was already a really good player, but he's added some muscle. He's added his overall game has gotten better, and he's going to be a force. There's a lot of people picking them to be in the playoff, and I read today from a guy that I respect a lot that he liked Penn State, so it's he's picking Penn State out of the Big Ten over Ohio State. So just excited to see kind of how it all plays out, but. Really excited for Kentucky to see how they're going to be.
I'm definitely going to be tuned in Sunday to that Florida State LSU game. That two teams that I'm really interested in for two different reasons. I picked Florida State as my sleeper playoff team in some discussions I've had with other people, and I think LSU is very overhyped starting the season. A lot of people are picking their quarterback as a sleeper Heisman candidate. I don't really know where that's coming from, just to be honest with you. So, he might prove me wrong Sunday, but I guess we'll see. I'm excited for that one, though.
Yeah, a lot of people picking LSU to win the SEC West instead of Alabama, which is almost unheard of. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Real quick to baseball, I just kind of joked throughout there that the Cubs won today. They did take 2 out of 3 from Milwaukee. Reds and the Cubs play a massive 4-game series starting Friday. They got a doubleheader on Friday, and then one on Saturday, one on Sunday. That's massive for both teams.
Yeah, and I think we've got more than one series with the Cubs I just don't with the
asked
Reds.
Todd in the break, who we pulling for today, the Cubs or the Brewers? He said we're probably pulling for the Brewers because
we're probably not.
We have a shot
anyway.
at the wild card, and we're like 6 games out in the division. So that
one
is
game
a
out
huge
of
series, Chris. Huge series.
Okay, that hurts my feelings that you would root against the Cubs.
I had to throw that in there.
All right, John, remind everybody real quick about Adair County.
Yeah, 6
Friday
o'clock Central Time, Friday night. So it'll be an hour earlier than you're used to, and we'll have it on WAIN. It'll 93.5. So we'll go on about 20 minutes till for Coach Stonebreaker's pregame comments and Ty and I our pregame show. So about 5:40.
John, you're going to be mad at me. I misinformed you. According to the KHSAA app, it starts at 8 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah,
so it will be normal time. I wanted to double check that. It's a good thing I did because I thought it would be an
I'm
hour earlier.
glad we caught that before we went off there. So 7 o'clock instead of 6 o'clock kickoff.
Yeah. And Lindsey Wilson's in action on Saturday. That's an 11 a.m. Central Time kickoff, noon Eastern Time. We'll be down in Laurinburg, North Carolina. St. Andrews is the only team from the Tar Heel State Lindsey Wilson's ever played. It's our second trip down there. It's not quite to the East Coast, but it's close enough that it'll probably be a sloppy track, as you heard Coach Kleckler talk earlier. Blue Raiders defeated St. Andrews last year 57-6 at home, and then they'll do the return trip on Saturday. So we head down there. And again, we'll go on the air with Bob Boone and myself beginning at 10:15 for our pregame show. That'll do our show this week. Thanks to our sponsors, Lindsey Wilson College, United Citizens Bank, TJ Regional Health, and our title sponsor, JNS Auto Sales. For Ty Bennett, John Shelley, Austin Armstrong, I'm Chris Wells. This has been the JNS Auto Sales Sports Talk, live and local.